Hello and a very warm welcome. You're watching Gravitas. I'm Molly Kampir. Let's get started. Our top focus tonight, US President Donald Trump saying if Iran does not agree to what has been discussed, bombing against Tehran will commence at a much higher level and intensity than it was before, in those words. Trump seems to be retreating, using rhetoric as a weapon in order to try and secure a deal with Iran. We get you the latest and the bigger picture. We're also putting the spotlight on the deep impact left behind by wars on children. Heartbreaking stories of growing up under trauma and fear and childhood scarred. We get you a detailed report with crucial numbers. Russia has launched what is being called the deadliest attack on Ukraine so far this year. We get you the complete story. All this and more coming up. Tonight, we are starting off with the latest from West Asia. A lot happening. A tense calm is holding between Washington and Tehran. The latest flashpoint coming from none other than Donald Trump himself, who basically has given two options to Iran: strike a deal or face destruction. The questions are also mounting over whether America is retreating from the Iran war. Let's tell you more and tell you why this question is being asked in the first place. In his latest post on Truth Social, the president said, I'm quoting, assuming Iran agrees to give what has been agreed to, which is perhaps a big assumption, the already legendary epic fury will be at an end, and the highly effective blockade will allow the Hormuz Strait to be open to all, including Iran. If they don't agree, the bombing starts, and it will be, sadly, at a much higher level and intensity than it was before. That statement made by Trump. Now, the warning also coming just hours after Trump's another post where he basically mentioned that US forces have stopped Project Freedom just a day after announcing it. Project Freedom, remember, is the US-led effort linked to securing navigation of the stranded vessels in the Strait of Hormuz. The decision to call off that strategic initiative comes just after Marco Rubio confirmed that Operation Epic Fury was concluded after achieving its objectives. Rubio's comments appearing to be a winding down of direct military posturing in the region. But the biggest shift now is diplomatic. Washington has reportedly sent a one-page memorandum to Tehran outlining a potential deal. This includes a pause on Iran's nuclear enrichment, lifting of US sanctions, and unfreezing of billions in Iranian assets. It also calls for restoring freedom of navigation through the Strait of Hormuz. Iran has confirmed that it is evaluating the proposal. But its foreign ministry also blamed Washington for initiating the conflict. It says Tehran will not surrender under pressure even as talks continue behind the scenes. So that's what Iran is saying right now. And the timing of all of this is also extremely important. The US is expected to respond to Tehran's position within 48 hours. And this makes the next few hours one of the most sensitive windows since the conflict started. But why is Trump also pushing rapidly for a deal with Iran after weeks of a stalemate and unilateral extension of the fragile ceasefire is the immediate question. The push for a deal is happening just ahead of Trump's planned visit to China. The Trump-Xi meeting in Beijing involves critical stakes, series of issues, like the Iran-China oil trade, Chinese support to Iran, the Taiwan issue, rare earth minerals, AI, and China's diplomatic role in the Iran war has come into sharper focus, remember, following talks between the Chinese and Iranian foreign ministers. Beijing is not an official mediator in the Iran war, but all parties, including Washington and Tehran, say it has played an important role in efforts to de-escalate the conflict. The Trump administration, meanwhile, is pressing China to use its influence with Iran to open the Strait of Hormuz. Yesterday, Rubio called on Chinese officials to urge Tehran to release its chokehold on the critical waterway. This comes as the Iranian foreign minister is in China. Following Rubio's request, Chinese foreign minister renewed the call for reopening the strait and provided fresh momentum to help push for an agreement between the US and Iran to end the war. Not just that, he also said China appreciates Iran's pledge to not develop nuclear weapons, while acknowledging Iran's legitimate right to peaceful use of nuclear energy. The conflict with Iran, meanwhile, is now doing more than just escalating the military tensions. It's also deeply dividing the Arab world. Countries in the region may face a common threat, but they're also far from united on how to respond. And some are preparing for confrontation, others are urging caution, while a few are still pushing for diplomacy. Let's just break this down for you. This friction has come into sharp focus after a recent attack in the UAE, when a drone strike sparked a fire in Fujairah, even as the UAE defenses intercepted multiple missiles over its waters. The UAE accused Tehran and called it a dangerous escalation. Iran, meanwhile, maintains that it had no intention of targeting the UAE directly. But Fujairah is not just any location, remember. It's one of the UAE's most strategic energy hubs. The emirate hosts a major deep-sea port on the Gulf of Oman, and it is the endpoint of a crucial oil pipeline from Abu Dhabi. This pipeline can transport around 1.5 million barrels of oil a day. Significantly, it bypasses the Strait of Hormuz, which is currently controlled by Iran as the situation unfolds and counterclaims are made, but it's also under US blockade. But that also is a developing situation. We just told you what Trump has said in the latest. Now, this also makes Fujairah a critical backup route for global energy supplies, especially during times of conflict. And there's also a showdown expected at the UNSC after Bahrain and the UAE urged the UN Security Council to take decisive actions against Iran's unlawful drone attacks targeting UAE and shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. Listen to this.
Let us be clear. Targeting civilians and civilian infrastructure is not only unacceptable, it's unlawful. And this was not an isolated incident. Since 28 February, the UAE has intercepted over 500 ballistic missiles, nearly 30 cruise missiles, and more than 2,000 UAVs launched from Iran. Commercial vessels in the Strait of Hormuz continue to be struck. Deliberate attacks on international shipping in one of the world's most vital waterways.
The targeting of the United Arab Emirates constitute for Bahrain and the region as a whole an immediate and a serious collective concern. These unlawful attacks are in a clear violation of the Security Council Resolution 2817, and further demonstrate continued non-compliance by Iran to that resolution.
And the thing is, as the tensions continue to rise, diplomatic efforts are also continuing. Iran's foreign minister, who is in China at the moment, recently spoke with his Saudi counterpart amid the developments. The two leaders are emphasizing on the need for dialogue and regional cooperation to avoid further escalation. This diplomatic juncture is also important because relations between the two sides are strained amid the war. After the US-Israeli strikes on Iran, Tehran retaliated by targeting key Saudi energy facilities. These attacks tested the fragile understanding between the two countries, which had only recently restored diplomatic ties after years of hostility. And this also brings us to the bigger picture, the growing division as such within the Gulf Cooperation Council countries, which held a crucial meeting last month to decide on a collective stance on the West Asia war. The UAE and Bahrain are taking a hardline approach. They see Iran as a direct threat and are openly supporting stronger military responses and closer security ties with Western allies. Days after the meeting, the UAE has also walked out from OPEC and OPEC Plus alliance on the 1st of May, remember. Saudi Arabia and Kuwait, on the other hand, are trying to balance security with stability. They want to contain Iran, but without triggering a full-scale war that could damage their economies. And then there are Qatar and Oman, which are clearly pushing for diplomacy, and they believe that only talks and a ceasefire can actually prevent a wider regional crisis. So even though all of these countries are part of the same group, they do not have a common strategy. Add to that the complexity of these ties. Israel's growing role in the region is also a concern, adding to all of these developments. Reports suggesting that Israel has deployed advanced air defense systems like the Iron Dome and the laser-based Iron Beam to support the UAE against missile and drone threats. This kind of military cooperation would have been unthinkable a few years ago, but that changed with the Abraham Accords, which normalized ties between Israel and several Arab nations, including the UAE. From Israel to Gaza, the cost of war has left childhood shattered in several parts. A generation growing up under the shadow of trauma, fear, psychological collapse. The numbers highlighting the growing crisis. A new report by Israel's Council for the Child revealing a surge in mental health struggles among children since the outbreak of the Israel-Hamas war in October 2023. As per the report, suicide attempts among children aged just 6 to 9 have jumped up by 53%. Among teenagers aged 12 to 17, anxiety diagnoses have risen by 31%, while depression cases are up by 9%. In 2025, more than 7,000 children sought help in psychiatric emergency rooms. Israeli hospitals also report a 25% increase in alcohol-related admissions and a 10% rise in drug-related cases among minors. Reports of sexual offenses against minors have increased, meanwhile, by 12%, with domestic abuse rising by 17%. Cyber-related harm has surged by 30%. Schools in Israel are struggling as well. Dropout rates have climbed by 30%. Alerts about staff with criminal records are up by 20%. And In Gaza, the situation is equally dire. The United Nations saying more than 1 million children urgently need psychological and social support. According to UN officials, 96% of children there believe death is imminent. Around 61% suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, 38% from depression, 41% from anxiety. A United Nations study also highlighting how young girls face rising pressure to marry early as families grapple with displacement, poverty, and insecurity. In the year 2025, nearly 10% of newly recorded pregnancies involved adolescent girls, while only 15% of the health facilities remain capable of providing critical maternal and newborn care. Experts warn the mental health effects in Gaza. Israel is also a systemic crisis with long-term impacts. Since the start of the Israel-Hamas war in October 2023, 69 Israeli children have been killed, over 1,500 injured. In Gaza, over 21,000 children have lost their lives. 21,000. More than 42,000 have suffered injuries. The Russia-Ukraine war has taken a devastating turn. Russia unleashed its deadliest wave of attacks this year, leading to a large number of fatalities and casting doubts over any talk of a ceasefire. Ukrainian authorities are saying Russian strikes have killed at least 27 civilians and injured over 120 others. The attacks hit multiple regions, with the heaviest damage reported in Zaporizhia and Dnipro, just as a ceasefire proposed by Ukraine's president came into effect at midnight on the 6th of May. Moscow had suggested a separate 2-day Victory Day ceasefire for May 8 and 9, remember, tied to World War II commemorations. Kiev rejected that limited pause, demanding an immediate and open-ended ceasefire instead. At the same time, Russia accusing Ukraine of violating its own ceasefire, claiming Ukrainian attacks targeted several regions across the country. According to Ukraine's Air Force, Russia launched 2 ballistic missiles, 1 air-to-surface missile, 108 drones overnight, including Shahed-type drones. Ukraine says it shot down 89 of those drones. The deadliest strike hit Zaporizhia in the southeast. According to Ukraine, Russian forces targeted civilian infrastructure using guided aerial bombs. At least 12 people were killed, 43 were injured, 18 remain hospitalized, including 4 in serious condition.
A cynical strike on facilities in the city of Zaporizhia, 4 guided aerial bombs. After the hit, the enemy intentionally began attacking those locations with shade drones. For a very long time, state emergency service workers and municipal services were unable to approach the location.
In a post on social media, Zelensky condemned the attack. In his words, he termed the attacks as a cynical terrorist strike, quote unquote, with no military justification. According to Ukraine, in Dnipro, 4 people were killed, 19 injured, 13 still in hospital, including 4 in serious condition. In Sumy region, meanwhile, a drone strike killed a 69-year-old woman who worked in a kindergarten as a security guard. No children were present at the time. Police footage showing emergency teams rushing in and evacuating victims.
I was near my home by the open door. The first hit was over there, and after a while, there was a second hit. Shrapnel flew everywhere, and my car was peppered with it.
In Donetsk region, 6 people were killed, 14 injured, while another airstrike on Kramatorsk killed at least 5 people and injured 12. In Kherson, 1 person died, 12 were injured. In Kharkiv, Ukraine's second largest city, 17 people were injured in the past day. In fact, Russia claims Ukrainian drone attacks killed 2 people in one part Shuvishia and 5 in Crimea. That's what Russia is saying. Moscow also says its air defenses destroyed 53 Ukrainian drones over Russian territory in attacks overnight. As both sides trade accusations, the violence on the ground telling its own story, any hope of a ceasefire remaining fragile at this moment. And let's now shift focus to the assembly elections results in India. The race for government formation has intensified while actor-turned-politician Vijay is set to cobble up the numbers to form a government in Tamil Nadu. Chief Minister picks have not been finalized in West Bengal as well as Kerala. Let's get you up to speed with the latest. With an overwhelming majority of 208 seats in the 294-member West Bengal Assembly, the BJP will be deciding its CM face at a legislative party meeting at 4 p.m. on the 8th of May. Meanwhile, the Union Home Minister, Amit Shah, who is the party's central observer, will be present as well. This will be followed by a swearing-in ceremony at 10 a.m. on the 9th of May. Let's just take a look at some of the key leaders believed to be in the CM race. Among the female leaders, Agnimitra Paul standing out, a fashion designer by profession. She has won the Asansol South seat twice in a row since 2021. Paul is also the vice president of the BJP state unit. The other key name is Dilip Ghosh, who was among the 3 BJP MLAs elected in 2016. He also served as a Lok Sabha MP from 2019 to 2024. Ghosh has considerable organizational heft, having served as BJP state president for 6 years. And he was again elected as an MLA this time. However, leader of opposition Suvendu Adhikari is perceived to be ahead in the race as of now, having defeated the Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee in 2021 and 2026. Incidentally, he served as a minister in Banerjee's cabinet from 2016 to 2020 before he switched over to the BJP. BJP's West Bengal president, meanwhile, can also emerge as a potential choice. Even though he is not an MLA, he is seen as a soft-spoken leader who has a good appeal among the urban population. He's also known for his ability to manage factions. The other choice, a rather surprising one, could be senior journalist turned politician Swapan Dasgupta, who won as well from the Rash Behari seat. Amid all of this, both TMC and BJP accusing each other of indulging in post-poll violence. While confirming 2 deaths, the West Bengal DGP asserted that no untoward incident was reported on Wednesday.
We have lodged more than 200 FIRs. 433 people have been arrested in specific cases. More than 1100 people have been arrested under preventive sections. As a result, no untoward incident has taken place since this morning.
And in another development, Mamata Banerjee chaired a meeting of her newly elected MLAs. The TMC chief reportedly saying that she will not resign as the chief minister, stressing on that, also claiming that over 1,500 party offices have been taken over or vandalized by BJP workers, she alleges. Let's just also talk about what's happening in Kerala for now. The race for the CM is wide open, even as the UDF alliance stormed to power by bagging 102 out of 140 seats. Its observers, in fact, as of now, have reached the state. They will be meeting all the MLAs on Thursday to try and ascertain their CM preference. Meanwhile, Satisan is one of the frontrunners for that post, considering the fact that he was seen as the face of the Congress in the state since 2021, being the leader of opposition in the state assembly. He has been winning from Parvur since 2001. But the party's National General Secretary, K.C. Venugopal, is also reportedly eyeing the post. And as per reports, he is confident of getting support from majority of the 63 elected Congress legislators. Venugopal has served as an MLA and union minister in the past. As he is currently a Lok Sabha MP, he will have to get elected as an MLA within 6 months if he becomes the chief minister. In addition to that, former Kerala Home Minister Chenitala is also in the CM race. He was first elected as an MLA way back in 1982. Chenitala also served as leader of opposition, remember, in the State Assembly from 2016 to 2021. On the other hand, suspense continues over government formation in Tamil Nadu. Of course, actor-turned-politician Vijay's TVK in that mega political blockbuster debut, 108 out of the 234 seats, just 10 short of the halfway mark. A few hours earlier itself, he called on the governor to stake claim to form the next government. He got a major boost as well as the Congress, which won 5 seats formally, extended support to the TVK earlier in the day. And this also widened the divide within the opposition alliance, with its pre-poll DMK describing the party as a backstabber. While reports also suggest that TVK has sought support from other Congress allies, who have 2 seats each, their response is still awaited, but no date as of now has been fixed for Vijay's oath-taking, as the governor reportedly asked him to show that he has sufficient numbers. A quick look now at what else is lined up for you on the show tonight. As the Hunter virus nightmare continues to unfold on the cruise ship, we get you a detailed report on where things stand. Telling you all about a silent war playing out quietly to try and dethrone the dollar. Can eating eggs cut Alzheimer's risk? We tell you what researchers are saying. All this and more coming up. Security agencies are probing a possible Pakistan ISI role after twin blasts in northern Indian state of Punjab. Authorities say that the timing of the blasts coincides with the anniversary of Operation Sindoor. Both blasts hit the boundary walls of military installations. No injury has been reported, and the investigation into the incident has been taken over by the NIA, India's primary counter-terrorism law enforcement unit. Forensic teams, dog squads, bomb disposal units were deployed at the site to neutralize the possibility of successive blasts. Both blasts took place within a 3-hour time frame. Both the sites are located over 100 kilometers away from each other, as you can see on the map. The blast took place outside the high security compound, and the preliminary reports reveal a Pakistan connection. DGP Punjab has said Pakistan's ISI is trying to cause disruptions in Punjab. Listen to this.
We suspect that since the anniversary of carrying out Operation Sindoor is approaching, this is a part of Pakistan's ISI designs to cause disruptions in Punjab.
On the other hand, Punjab's chief minister making political turns. He said that investigation is underway while putting the blame on the BJP. He claimed that blasts are part of the BJP's strategy of spreading violence to get votes, he alleged.
Investigation is underway into these minor blasts. This is the BJP's preparation for the Punjab elections. BJP gets votes by spreading violence and fear among people. I want to tell the BJP to stop.
Punjab, remember, is heading to the assembly elections next year. And Aman's remarks are likely to trigger a political blame game between the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party. A rare and candid admission from former US President Barack Obama has revealed the personal cost of political battles in a way. Barack Obama has acknowledged that his political pressures, particularly those linked to US President Donald Trump, caused a strain in his marriage with Michelle Obama. In an interview with The New Yorker, the former president said his decision to stay politically active after leaving office led to quote-unquote genuine tension as Michelle Obama prefers a quieter life away from politics. Obama revealing that his wife feels frustrated, seeing him remain deeply involved in campaigns and public criticism instead of stepping back and spending more time with family. The former US president, in the interview, conceded that balancing public responsibility and personal life remains a challenge that he has not fully resolved. These remarks coming amid reports about difficulties in their marriage. Obama earlier admitted that he owed time and attention to his wife after years in public office and said he continues to work on rebuilding that balance. Obama remains one of the Democratic Party's most visible voices against Donald Trump, and his political engagement also keeps him firmly in the spotlight and often in the firing line of the current president as well. Just earlier this year, Trump drew condemnation for a video shared on his Truth Social account that featured a rather racist depiction of Barack Obama and Michelle Obama. Trump also often refers to the former US president as Barack Hussein Obama and has also shared a fake video of Obama being arrested. Shifting focus, Pakistan's only locally owned brewery has taken a major step by starting to export alcoholic products, even as alcohol remains banned for the country's majority Muslim population for nearly 5 decades. Here's a detailed report.
Turning point for Pakistan's famous Marie Brewery. It has started exporting its beers and spirits to countries like UK, Japan, Portugal and Thailand. The dramatic shift in policy comes in the face of Pakistan's mounting debt and a persistent dollar crunch. The brewery has taken a pragmatic turn after receiving a long-awaited nod from the government in 2025. For decades, the brewery could only sell alcohol to a limited group within Pakistan. This included only non-Muslims and foreign visitors, through strictly regulated channels. But the brewery kept its foot in the door on the global front. It exported non-alcoholic products from packaged juices to mineral water and fruit-based malts. Now, with alcohol exports being allowed, it is stepping back into a space it once dominated. The story of Marie Brewery dates back to the 1860s. It was founded by Edward Dyer and Edward Whymper during British rule to supply beer to troops stationed in the region. It transitioned into local hands over time, becoming a symbol of industrial continuity through changing political eras. The restrictions trace back to 1977, when then Prime Minister Zulfikar Ali Bhutto imposed a nationwide ban on alcohol. Under pressure from Islamist groups, this decision dramatically changed the brewery's business model.
We have already sent some consignments to Japan, to England and to Portugal.
Today, this company is led by Ishpanyar Bandara, a businessman and lawyer. A businessman and lawmaker who is believed to have pushed for the export license and helped the company regain access to international markets. Recent policy shifts have also played a role. In 2021, a Chinese-run brewery was allowed to operate in Balochistan, primarily to serve foreign nationals working on major infrastructure projects. Now, with exports underway, Marie Brewery is not just expanding business, it is reconnecting with a global legacy and reviving its old trade links to enter new markets.
The US and China may be clashing over tariffs, sanctions, market access, but the real battle is playing out rather quietly in the currency markets. At the heart of all of this is a growing push towards de-dollarization, a slow but steady attempt to reduce the world's dependence on the US dollar. China has, for the first time, invoked its 2021 blocking rules, ordering domestic firms to ignore US sanctions, targeting Chinese refineries accused of importing Iranian crude. The move also comes as the yuan looks to expand the global use of its currency. And the strategy is basically already showing up in markets. Yuan is trading near 6.8 to the dollar, its strongest level in over 3 years. So far this year, yuan has gained over 2%, building on last year's nearly 5% rise. This is not a sudden spike, but a sustained move. Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump is gearing up for his highly anticipated meeting with the Chinese president. Despite the truce talks, tensions remain between the world's two largest economies. Trade, sanctions, global alignments are all on the table. Currencies are often part of that negotiation toolkit, of course. And Trump has already made his position quite clear. It was a warning shot last year aimed directly at the BRICS bloc. Trump has repeatedly expressed anger over any attempt to create a common BRICS currency, remember. While currency talks have not materialized yet, trade in local currencies has gained traction. BRICS already accounts for almost 25% of global trade. And Iran has actively sought payments in yuan during its ongoing war with the US. Rupee-ruble trade is also rising significantly, and all of these trends point to a gradual transition into a multi-currency order, with yuan gaining ground, local currency trade gaining traction, and US unreliability in the spotlight in a way. The weakening of the dollar as such could eventually weaken America's grip on the world, perhaps. 5 major publishers and an author reportedly have filed a lawsuit alleging that the Meta CEO authorized and encouraged the infringement of their copyrighted content, allegedly. The lawsuit filed in a US federal court argues that Meta misused copyrighted books and journal articles to train its artificial intelligence models, allegedly without permission. The lawsuit has been brought by publishers including Cengage and Macmillan and McGraw-Hill, among others, along with author Scott Turow. They allege, reportedly, that Meta pirated their content and used it to train its AI systems to respond to user prompts. The complaint, filed as a proposed class action, seeks unspecified damages for copyright infringement. The publishers argue that Meta deliberately bypassed copyright protections and even considered licensing the material before abandoning the plan. Allegedly on the instructions of the CEO, Mark Zuckerberg, Meta, however, has pushed back, saying AI training can qualify as fair use under the provisions of the US Copyright Code, and that it will fight the case. The fair use provisions allow limited use of copyrighted material without permission for purposes like commentary, research, education, or transformative uses. However, the lawsuit argues that Meta's conduct falls outside protections afforded by fair use provisions. The lawsuit marking the latest escalation in a broader legal battle between content creators and tech companies over how AI models are trained. Several authors, artists, media organizations have filed similar cases against firms including Meta, OpenAI, and Anthropic. But courts have so far shown some support for tech companies' arguments. In 2025, a US judge dismissed a similar claim against Meta, reportedly ruling that training AI models on copyrighted books could fall under fair use. A celestial event that occurs every year when our planet intersects a comet's orbit. Earth currently passing through a stream of cosmic debris left behind Halley's Comet, resulting in an annual meteor shower. The event basically causes tiny particles to slam into Earth's atmosphere and burn up in brilliant streaks of light. The meteor shower reached its peak overnight from Tuesday, May 5, into the early hours of Wednesday, May 6. Meanwhile, the end of the month has in store a lunar treat, a blue moon that takes place on the 31st of May. That reference is not to the moon's color. Let's tell you more about what is in store. It is the second full moon occurring within a single calendar month. It's basically a calendar-based astronomical event. The rare alignment happens because the lunar cycle lasts about 29.5 days, which basically results in an extra full moon to occasionally fit into 1 month. This is an event that typically occurs once every 2 to 3 years. Remember the phrase, once in a blue moon? That's what it basically refers to, the rarity of the event. In today's fast-paced world, the idea of memory loss and cognitive decline is intimidating. While there is no concrete cure for Alzheimer's yet, a new study throwing light on how we can possibly minimize its risks, according to researchers. Our next report telling you more.
While we have made significant advancements in medical science, Alzheimer's remains one of the diseases which doesn't have a concrete cure yet. As millions of Alzheimer's patients across the world continue to grapple with this disease, a new study has shed light on a possible way to reduce its risk. According to a study published in the Journal of Nutrition, an egg a day may do more than keep hunger at bay. It found that those who ate eggs more frequently were less likely to be diagnosed with Alzheimer's. Close to 40,000 adults in US aged 65 and above were tracked for about 15 years on average as part of this study. It found that having eggs at least 5 times a week was associated with a 27% lower risk of developing Alzheimer's as compared to those who never consumed them. According to Professor Joan Sabati, who spearheaded this study, even less frequent consumption of eggs significantly helped people. For instance, he observed that eating 1 to 3 eggs per week led to a 17% decrease in risk, whereas eating eggs 2 to 4 times a week lowered the risk by 20%. Now, what explains the possible link between eggs and reduction of Alzheimer's risk? According to this study, they contain several nutrients that can boost brain health. One of them is choline, which the body uses to make acetylcholine that helps nerve cells pass signals to one another. This compound is vital for memory and learning. According to WHO estimates, over 57 million people had dementia across the world as of 2021. Alzheimer's accounted for 60–80% of these cases. Most of these patients were aged 65 and above. As per the World Population Review data, Japan, Italy, Germany, Greece and Monaco have the highest number of Alzheimer's cases. However, there is a key caveat. Observational studies like this cannot prove cause and effect, as the overall diet and lifestyle of people may differ. For example, they may have lower rates of smoking and alcohol consumption than the population at large. But the study is a good reminder of how certain diet and lifestyle changes can have a positive impact on life.
The biggest tournament in football, the FIFA World Cup, is just over a month away. And while the 3 host nations, the US, Mexico and Canada, put the final touches when it comes to the preparations, football mad Brazil is also getting ready for the festivities. Take a look.
In Brazil, football is not just a sport. It is a way of life. It is an art. And for many, it is also a source of artistic inspiration. Ahead of every World Cup, one of the biggest attractions has been the vibrant street art of Rio de Janeiro, with entire neighborhoods transformed into a sea of yellow, green and blue. And this year is no different.
I think it's really nice. All this excitement. Every World Cup they do this here. It's not the first time. They always do it. Hopefully, the street painting brings good luck and Brazil wins another title. We really need one.
On Rua Pereira Nunes, in Rio's Villa Isabel neighborhood, residents have gathered every 4 years for nearly 5 decades, painting murals across streets and walls, turning their community into a giant tribute to the beautiful game.
We have Vinny Jr. on the mural, and we have Brazil coach Carlo Ancelotti with a phrase written in Italian, "You're going to have to swallow me," recalling Mario Zagallo.
Over in Rosina, Rio de Janeiro's largest favela, artists and volunteers worked through the night to complete another massive street mural. Along the busy Via Appia, the main road at the entrance to the community, section by section, the street was filled with Brazil's iconic colors as residents raced against the clock to finish the artwork before daily life returns to normal.
We've spent the entire night marking things out. We have been here since midnight. Each person did a section so that the painters could arrive at 5 a.m. and we could finish by 5 p.m.
In Rio, painting the streets before a World Cup is a long-standing symbol of community spirit, with entire blocks turned into open-air football festivals, where neighbors gather to watch matches together. But in recent years, the tradition has slowly faded. As Brazil's World Cup heartbreaks grew, the Seleção last lifted football's biggest prize in 2002. And this year's tournament will be their first under legendary coach Carlo Ancelotti, as the five-time champions dream of a record 6th World Cup title.
There'll be a big screen like there always is, and a party. I'll be honest, if the Brazil squad makes it past the first round, I'll already be really happy. I'm not going to lie, there's no point pretending otherwise. I don't think the squad has shown much fighting spirit, but since we're Brazilian, we always keep believing in everything, so we'll cheer for Brazil to be champions.
This year, the flags of the three co-hosts, the United States, Canada and Mexico, have been added alongside Brazil's famous colors. The murals also feature the World Cup trophy and images of past and present stars, including Vinicius Jr. But for many here, the painting represents something far bigger than football, a message of unity, hope and belief. As the World Cup draws closer, Brazil is once again doing what it has always done best, turning football into art.
With that, it's a wrap on this edition of Gravitas Tonight. This is me, Modi Gambhir, signing off. Thanks for watching.
In-depth coverage of global issues broken down into facts, figures, and simple words. Backed with analysis from field experts who truly matter, because we believe in decoding the real picture for you. So you get a much wider and deeper understanding of stories from around the world, a 360-degree analysis. An award-winning documentary series, week after week creating the maximum impact. Watch WION Wide Angle at these times on WION. World is One.
In this rapidly changing world, is your health keeping pace? Best practices and breakthroughs busting the hype with real insights. The timeless power of yoga and ancient healing. Good food, good mood. Small steps, big impact. Your health matters. Only on WION World is One. Because nothing matters more.
In West Asia, every move shifts the world's balance. Wars, ceasefires, alliances, power never stands still. From Tehran to Tel Aviv, from Damascus to Doha, the West Asia Post cuts through the chaos to reveal the region that shapes the world. Because what happens in West Asia never stays in West Asia. This is the West Asia Post, the region's story, the world's impact.
Where darkness hides behind every corner. Where the truth is stranger than fiction. A show that dives deep into the stories which shock and mystify. Unsolved murders. Psychopaths who defy explanation. international war crimes, and millions swindled in financial fraud. The victims, the accused, and the sinister plot. Crime is your front row seat to darkness. From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening, as we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch.
Campaigns, elections, alliances, controversies, and power play. Stories that analyze global and domestic politics. A dedicated show with varied perspectives, expert take, citizens' voices, detailed ground reports, and in-depth coverage from political corridors of the world. This is Race to Power, only on WION.
WION, India's global voice, the channel that brings you the biggest stories from across the world through India's lens. Now available in more than 190 countries worldwide. Because we believe that the world is one. Watch us in Africa, Europe, USA and Canada, South America, Asia Pacific, Middle East and North African regions. Also available on these digital platforms across the world. WION. World is one.
In this rapidly changing world, is your health keeping pace? Best practices and breakthroughs busting the hype with real insights. The timeless power of yoga and ancient healing. Good food, good mood. Small steps, big impact. Your